enjoy English school.
Yo.
Today is 10-10. So happy 10-10 day to everyone. We're on pages 20 and 21, and we have our features article. We're talking about something special here. Ready for the Fs? Fantastic Falcons and how to fly them for fun.
Yeah, alliteration 就是那种押头韵，对不对？哈 ，Fantastic Falcons and how to fly them for fun. 好，我们中文里面呢讲说来到卡达。准没错，这个准呢，它是列音，这个准 ，OK， 很特别的，中文跟英文都有一些文字趣味哦。
That's right. Now let's look at our subtitle. Qataris, that's people from the country of Qatar. Qataris love their falcons.
就是卡达人真的好爱他们的猎鹰哦。
Yeah, they have a strong culture using falcons to hunt. And today, they don't really do that a lot, but they still have those memories and they still like to take care of these really fast and cool-looking birds.
没错，他们现在呢还是非常非常喜欢的他们的猎鹰。好，这个猎鹰本身飞行速度也很快，很酷的一个生物。
Okay, let's hear the story, and when we come back, we got paragraph 1.
Fantastic falcons and how to fly them for fun. In just about every culture on Earth, humans have employed the local animals to work for them. In many countries, dogs are used in various ways. Police dogs, hunting dogs, and service dogs are just a few examples of roles that dogs take on. While in Qatar, people use falcons or other hunting birds to hunt. The roots of falconry go far back in time. The story goes that around the 7th century, a Persian king once watched a falcon capture a bird. He was so amazed that he decided to capture the falcon to learn from it. He did this and afterwards became a wise and patient ruler. Whether the story is true or not, falcons have been a part of Arab culture for many years. In the desert, a falcon can provide its owner with meat that they would be unlikely to catch on their own. Today, falconry in Qatar is more like a sport. Trainers have their falcons compete in hunts, races, and beauty events. Wealthy Qataris practice falconry for pride, fun, and education. They still believe that training a falcon can train one's mind. But they don't come cheap. Priced falcons sell for as much as, or more than, a fancy car.
Okay, Anthony, so what sound does a pig make?
A pig.
Yes.
Oink.
So oink. In English it says oink oink. I want to know the Chinese. Oink oink.
Oink oink 就是轰轰的声音。
Hong hong. Okay, how about a...
You know, in French, they say coin. And it smells like going. So it's a
oink, oink.
Going. Yeah. But there's a fun story I'll tell you after this.
Okay. I want to know it now. But
Oh,
okay.
really?
How about a rooster?
Rooster, like I don't know.
In Chinese, you say goo. Yeah. In English, you go right? So what sound does a falcon make?
I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
caw, right? What if you were going to say I'm a falcon? You're going to pretend you're a falcon. What sound do you make, right?
I don't know.
Like make.
I'll make it like something like that.
It's like a seagull. It's a crow.
Oh no, that's not. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, falcons are hard. Right? Maybe like that because they're like really high.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What sound does a falcon make? Can you just call the IV office and just leave it on their voicemail? Okay, let's continue to our story. In just about every culture on Earth, humans have employed or used the local animals to work for them.
好，我们来看第一段的第一句话，他说 In just about every culture on earth， 在地球上每一个文化几乎都是这样的。他说 Humans have employed the local animals to work for them. 好，这句话 employ 这个字的话呢，其实就是运用、使用。当然，你也可以当做是雇佣的意思。这个地方后面讲的是 local animals， 比较不会用雇佣这个词嘛。所以说，当地的人们呢，人们都会使用当地的这些动物来为他们工作。
That's right. Anthony, name 3 animals. Go.
Dogs, cats, and elephants.
Okay, so you're thinking too much. If you ask a person, like, 受伤的动物, if you don't let them prepare, they're going to say cat, dog, fish, right?
Right.
And we start thinking animals when we want to be creative. But in our brain, when we think of the everyday animals in our life, they're always working for us. That's why we think of cows. That's why we think of pigs. That's why we think of horses or cat, dog, fish. Because they're, fish maybe because it's in our house.
Right.
But cats and dogs used to do work for us.
Yeah, 没错，所以是为我们工作的，我们第一个会想到的这些动物。
Yeah, those are those everyday animals that you think of when you think of 那个动物的概念。
对。
In many countries, dogs are used in various ways.
他说 ，in many countries， 在很多国家里面呢 ，dogs are used in various ways。狗呢，它本身有非常非常多功能的用途。
Don't forget used s 发 z， 你可以写一个 z and in various ways just means in a number of ways, in many ways. Various just means a lot of.
A lot of 就是 various 各式各样的。
Our next sentence says police dogs or canines, hunting dogs, and service dogs are just a few examples of roles that dogs take on.
好，我们看到这个地方。Police dog 就是警犬，老师刚刚特别讲了一个 canine。好 ，canine 的话，它其实很有趣哦。如果是警犬的话，刚好就是 K， 然后就是9，但事实上 canine 其实也是 canine。Canine 就是犬科的动物，所以他们给它这个 K9 的称号，刚好也是 canine 犬科，这很酷。那再来后面还要讲到 hunting dogs 猎犬。And service dogs 这种服务犬啊 are just a few examples of roles that dogs take on. 好，这些你所想得到的猎犬也好，警犬也好，都是我们几个例子而已。狗还有更多的用途。
All right, let's look at our next sentence. While in Qatar, or some people say Qatar, while in Qatar, people use falcons, or other hunting birds to hunt.
You took me by surprise.
The hawk was going to get you.
Yeah,
hawk is going to get you. All right.
好，所以他这句话他讲说了 ，While in Qatar or Qatar， 好，两种念法都有。People use falcons, other hunting birds to hunt。他们用像这个猎鹰啦，或是隼啦这样子的东西去来打猎。
That's a cool idea to do, right? It's like you have a hawk or like a falcon and it flies off.
Right.
And then they're really good and they go catch an animal. Now, I would feel bad for that animal, but people do need to eat. And that's how in the past, people would get their food when they lived in the desert. It's very hard to sneak up on an animal in the desert. And so falcons could do it from up high.
没错，所以在沙漠里头，你要去抓食物啊，或者去猎捕动物，其实很难，因为一望无际，远远就看到你要来抓我，我还在那边给你抓，不可能。所以说，今天要去抓动物的话，至少用这个 falcon， 它可以在很高的地方去看，然后去猎捕你猎捕不到的动物。
Now, because we're talking about the verb to hunt, what do they hunt? They hunt prey. P-R-E-Y, 谁下来 P-R-E-Y, prey.Prey
就是这个猎物，猎物的话 prey 这个字很特别，这个猎物它是不可数的，它是不可数名词，所以你不会看到它加 s。
That's right, and 为什么不是 prey P-R-A-Y? Because 你对 prey 做什么 P-R-E-Y? Well, 你要 E-A-T 它们 you want to eat your prey.
Eat your prey， 所以是 P-R-E-Y， 这样你去记 prey 这个声音的时候，你会确定是 E-Y because you want to eat them.Okay,
and with that, let's take a quick break. Welcome back to Enjoy English School, friends. Today, we're talking about fantastic falcons and how to fly them for fun. Let's look at our second paragraph. The roots of falconry go far back in time.
好，我们来看第二段哦，老师非常非常喜欢嘎嘎的那个部分哈。The roots of falconry， 好 ，falcon， 然后后面加 ry，falconry 就是指育鹰之术，就是你去怎么样去训练这个老鹰，能够帮你去抓食物，对不对 ？Go far back in time， 其实可以追溯到很久很久以前。
We have evidence that people were using birds. 没有说清楚哪一只鸟 but they were using birds for hunting over 5,000 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was even described in this famous, like one of the oldest books in history called like the Code of Hammurabi or whatever. And they have, what was it, Hammurabi?
汉谟拉比法典。
I don't think it was that. It was something else. But 没关系。那个意思是 one of the oldest books we have survived. It's not Hammurabi. They described hunting with birds, and it's 5,000 years ago. That's crazy. So, but today we're actually not talking about this idea from there. We're actually talking about the Persian version here, and let's see where that goes. The story goes that around the 7th century, that's 600, a Persian king once watched a falcon capture a bird.
好，现在告诉你，老刚前面提到说，其实5000年以前就有这样子的记录，但不见得是使用准这个猎鹰哦。那我们现在讲这个版本的话，是来自于7世纪的时候发生的事情，就是600多年的时候的事情。
Epic of Gilgamesh. I'm sorry. I just thought of it. I'm sorry. It's not the Code of Hammurabi. It's the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's one of the oldest books we have.
哦，原来如此。
Sorry.
好，所以这句话呢，他就讲说 ，The story goes that， 好，这故事是这样的 ，Around the 7th century， 好，差不多在7世纪左右的时候 ，a Persian king， 好，有一个波斯的王 ，once watched a falcon capture a bird， 他有一次看到，哇，这个猎鹰这个准啊，一下就抓到这个猎物了。
So we have that capture sound in our word here. Write a ch above the t. So 再写一个 c 一个 h, capture. So 你没有说 captor, that's wrong. He was so amazed that he decided to capture the falcon to learn from it. Boy, that's bad luck.
哇，喂，他就一看都觉得哇，惊为天人，好惊叹呐！于是他决定想办法把这个准给抓起来，然后试着去从他身上学习东西。
He did this and afterwards became a wise and patient ruler. So I guess this is a pretty great bird after all.
所以到后来他就说，他就这样做了，而且呢，后来他就告诉你说 ，and afterwards became a wise and patient ruler， 他就变成一个非常睿智，然后又非常有耐心的君王。可见他要训练这个准的话，可能也需要很多时间跟耐心。
That's exactly right. It takes a long time to have a falcon trust you. You need to learn a lot of things. And remember, he's in this story, one of the first people to do it. No one can teach him how to do it. He has to learn it himself. And everybody knows when you kind of invent something, it takes a very long time. Maybe in the future, you can be really super good at it. But at first, it's always slow and it's always difficult.
没错，开始的时候没有人教他，他是第一个这么做的人，所以需要很多时间去摸索嘛。
That's right. Whether the story is true or not, falcons have been a part of Arab culture for many years.
好，他后面告诉你说，不管这个故事是真是假 ，whether the story is true or not, falcons have been a part of Arab culture. 好 ，Arab culture 就是阿拉伯文化，好，它已经变成阿拉伯文化的一部分 for many years， 已经好多好多年了。
That's right. In fact, it's a part of many cultures. It's a part of European cultures and falconry. That's like the practice of using these birds for hunting. Has changed English. In fact, a lot of really famous English phrases come from falconry.
哦，所以说今天呢，育婴之术它这里面有非常非常多的这个重要性，已经改变了可能在英文里头使用这些字词的用法，它已经进入到了英文词汇里头了。
So you guys probably know with falconry, you have this big leather glove and the bird sits on your hand. But why doesn't their bird fly away? Well, it's because you have this little hook on the bird's leg and you can use your thumb to hold it. And you hold it down and the bird can't fly away. You have to hold it tight. The bird can feel that. And in English, if you can control someone, they can't argue. They can't say no. They won't say no. In English, this means I've got you under my thumb, just like the bird.
哦，所以说今天你看，如果今天你要去驾驭这个准的话，它本身你有一个皮革在这个手腕上面，大家看前手背这个地方，它会停在上面。 但是它为什么不会飞走呢？是因为它的这个链子脚下面有个链子，然后这链子是通在你的这个大拇指上面，所以你大拇指紧压的时候，它知道它飞也飞不走。所以说今天如果说今天你说 you have somebody under your thumb， 代表是它等于是活在你的大拇指底下，那变成是你可以操纵它，在英文里面就有这样的说法。
So there's another word we can say, another phrase we could say, wrapped around my finger. Now, let's say a boy really loves a girl and she knows she can control him, then she could say, I've got him wrapped around my finger. He will do anything for me. That's because when you're holding the bird under your thumb, you can also use this little finger for a little bit more control. And Jigga Soldier, we know our little finger is not very strong. But when someone is wrapped around your finger, even my little finger can control you. So this is a way of saying I have 100% control of you.
所以你逃不出我的手掌心那种感觉，对不对？所以说今天如果你讲说你已经把一个人让他缠在你的小指头上，我要他往东，他就不能往西的感觉，这也是来自于育婴之术 falconry.
And there's a lot more, but we could talk about those later. Let's look back at our story. In the desert, a falcon can provide its owner with meat that they would be unlikely to catch on their own.
好，还告诉你说 in the desert， 好，在沙漠里面呢 ，a falcon can provide its owner， 它能够替主人做的事情是什么 ？With meat， 能提供这些肉给这个主人。然后呢 ，that they would be unlikely to catch on their own。这个 they 指的是它的主人哦，这些主人自己要去抓是抓不到的。之前我们昨天的时候就讲过，说沙漠一望无际，你要去抓这个动物，远远动物就看到你了。
Maybe earlier, not yesterday.
然后呢，它就变成是它必须要用那个猎鹰去用空中去抓，这样才可以。
That's right. It's hard to sneak up on an animal, but that falcon is fast and it will catch something and bring it to you. Maybe it's things you don't want to eat. You might get a rabbit or a lizard. You can get mice. But if you're really hungry and you live in the desert, that was important too.
没错，所以有的吃就吃，不管是抓到蜥蜴啊，或抓到蛇啊，能吃就不错了。
That's right. Today, falconry in Qatar or Qatar is more like a sport. Trainers have their falcons compete in hunts, races, and beauty events.
哇，所以你看，时至今日呢 ，Today falconry in Qatar or Qatar is more like a sport. 然后时至今日的话，其实这种育婴之术呢，比较像是一种运动。然后他说 ，Trainers have their falcons compete in hunts, races, and beauty events. 所以他们今天训练这些老鹰的人们呢，可以派他们老鹰去参加任何的那种打猎的比赛，或是其他任何形态的选美比赛都有可能。
That sounds funny, right? Because you're thinking it's got like nice hair and lipstick, but really, when you look at a falcon, they're very beautiful. They have those big, powerful eyes, and they have a very intense feeling. They feel like they're ready to just explode with energy when I see them.
没错，真的就是这样。
All right, well, with that, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we can wrap up the story. Hey friends, welcome back to Enjoy English School. We're on pages 20 and 21. Of course, we're finishing up our falcon story. Now we know we can use falcons to hunt for prey, but how good are their eyes, Anthony?
Wow, I didn't know that. 这个地方我老师刚刚就问我说，你知道这些 falcon 这些猎鹰的眼睛有多锐利，它眼力有多好吗？我真的还不知道。
Well, let's see. So a falcon's eyes are 10 times stronger than a human. So that's kind of like, imagine you're on a football field or a soccer field, and you could read the newspaper from the other side, no problem.
哇，所以可以想象它的那个视力是人类10倍的好哎，所以说今天感觉很像是你可以在足球场的一端去看到足球场另外一端那个报纸上面写什么，我可以这样子阅读，远远的阅读报纸都没有问题，这就是准的眼力。
It's a crazy strong eyesight, so no wonder they can catch things in the desert from so high.
没错。
Let's continue. Wealthy Qataris practice falconry for pride, fun, and education.
好，所以接下来就告诉你说了 ，wealthy Qataris， 好，就是很有钱的卡达人们呢，好 ，practice falconry， 就是他们用他们的育婴之术。为什么要去练习这个东西？是因为 for pride， 为了他们的自豪 fun 有趣 and education 也可以用来当做教育的一个工具。
Now 这个不是奖品 it's not prize it's not prizes right 因为要复数它是克数 it says pride that means who is the best so 小心发音有一点像 so pride prize that's P-R-I-Z-E but 因为那是克数我在这边 we need to say 如果要收奖品Wealthy Qataris practice falconry for prizes, and that's 不一样的意思。
没错。
They still believe that training a falcon can train one's mind.
好，所以在这边还告诉你说，他们还是相信说，今天你要去训练一只隼的话呢，它也可以训练你自己的心智。
But they don't come cheap. Prized falcons sell for as much as or more than a fancy car.
好，所以他告诉你说，不过哦，好 ，they don't come cheap。好，这些隼啊，这些猎鹰啊，价值不菲哦。他说 ，prized falcons， 好，这些很棒的、很厉害的这些猎鹰呢 ，sell for as much as or more than a fancy car。你要买一个隼，那个花的钱，搞不好还可以去买一个房车，甚至买了还有剩。
I watched a video. There was a person who visited a falcon store, and he says.Birds in the store can cost up to $1 million. And I said, wow. And then I said, wait, like $1 million US dollars
or
pesos? Like what? I didn't know. I mean, 还是会算很多, but he didn't say 1 million what? So I was like, $1 million like bananas? I really didn't know. I wanted to know. So it costs a lot though. We know that.
没错.
All right. With that, let's get ready for vocab review.Okay, it's time for vocab review. Let's take a look. Number 1, we have a noun, hunting.
Hunting 就是打猎。
And then the verb is to hunt.
To hunt 也是打猎动词的意思。
All right, number 2 is to take on something.
To take on something 就是在这边的话指的是扮演什么样的角色 The roles dogs take on.
It is just to do. Yeah, not the song from the 80s. Take on me. Oh, we're going to sing. Number 3 is root.
Root 就是根源或是起源的意思哦。
The root. This also can be a verb. It means something different. Number 4, to capture something.Capture
就是捕捉，尤其是会动的东西。
You guys probably know captures. If you watch video games on YouTube, you know the person uses a capture card so that you can watch the game on your computer.
哦，这样子，所以 capture 这个字的话，其实有时候在那个 video games 也会看得到。
That's right, capture card. Number 5 is patient.Patient
就是有耐心的
And 这个有 sh 的发音可以写下来 Number 6 to provide somebody with something
就是提供某人什么样的东西
And number 7 to be unlikely or to be likely to do something
be unlikely to do something 就是比较没有办法比较不可能如果你今天讲的是反义字 be likely to do something 就是有可能做什么事情
And number 8 is pride in the name of love if you're a YouTube fan okay
Pride 就是自豪自尊的那种感觉
Probably no one watching except me but all right Tomorrow we'll be back with more of our Falcon story and we're going to learn about a very special hospital. But before we go, I wanted to ask you, are you interested in falconry? Now, I'm not saying, do you want to buy a falcon and take care of one? Would you go to like if you visit Scotland or Ireland, they practice falconry there, or if you go to Qatar, would you want to go to like a day trip learning how to use a falcon?Let us know if it's something like you'd like to do. I personally probably would not.
OK 老师的问题是说如果说今天你有机会去学到如何去训练老鹰你会不会愿意去学呢不是要你自己去买一个很贵老鹰来训练哦不是哦如果今天你到苏格兰啊或是一些地方他们可能有教你以后一日游一日猎鹰之术的训练你会不会参加呢老师说他自己本身不会如果你会或是不会的话请说出你的想法啊跟理由我们很想知道哦
That's right and we'll see you tomorrow for Enjoying the School. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Antony.
See you then.
Bye-bye.